Well, Jenna, I learned a lot from this quote. And what I learned is that Ben Simmons does not watch film of opposing teams. Because if he did watch film, he would know that the Brooklyn Nets are sharing and moving the basketball as well as any team in the league. He wouldn't, and they're certainly much better than the 76ers do. And he'd also know that James Harden is playing point guard better than Ben ever has. This sounds like a quote that you would make the day after the trade. Hey, how's it going to work? I was even concerned. How are these three guys going to fit together? There's only one ball. I mean, come on, Ben. Have you been paying attention? The defensive quote, of course, makes a little more sense, but even that's outdated. Here's some numbers to educate Ben Simmons and Nick, because Nick will no doubt in a few moments say they're 25th in the league in defensive ranking. All right. Hey, Nick, since the All-Star break, they're 13th in the league in defensive rating. They're third in the league in opponent's field goal percentage. And Kevin Durant and Nick Claxton have statistically played better on the ball defense than Ben Simmons. All right, look, I don't need the formula for winning from Ben Simmons, okay, because Ben hasn't won a thing. He didn't win at LSU when he was the best player in the country, couldn't even get him in the tournament. And in Philadelphia, they haven't gotten past the second round, despite being arguably the most talented team in the East the last 3 years. So, and I like Ben, but I had to keep it real.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Nice. So no, you don't. You clearly don't. That's fine though. Broussard, maybe you, in your years of wisdom and your access, being a 30-plus year NBA writer and voter, can get Ben Simmons the video you're saying he should watch of Kyrie, Harden, and Durant all sharing the ball playing together, because I've been searching for that video as well about there only being one ball since, they've played 187 minutes together. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the meat of this quote, because I consider myself, I'm a bit of an old-fashioned guy. I like my coffee black. You know how I like to watch television? On television, not streaming on my iPad. I like to actually sit down and watch TV. And you know how I like to talk about NBA champions? With good defense and with respect to teams that have actually won it. So Ben Simmons, I doff my proverbial cap to you, because Ben Simmons and I are evidently the only two people in America that actually understand the defending champs play in Los Angeles, not Brooklyn. We're evidently the only two people in America that, unless you want to go through kind of ridiculous gymnastics to be like, actually, the Nets are good at defense, acknowledge, we've never had a champion be terrible defensively. And the Nets, while I don't think I'm going to say it in quite the voice Broussard used, are 25th in the league defensively.
Here it comes.
And so is some of this Ben Simmons a little, call it salty, because he was almost the one traded for Harden? Yeah, I think so. I think Ben Simmons has a point to prove that Philly was lucky that the trade they reportedly offered was not made. So I do think there is a little extra oomph here for Simmons, but I also think, Brandon, it is spot-on analysis, and I can't disagree with a single thing he said.
Spot on.
What's wrong? What did he say that's wrong? What did he say that's wrong?
This whole conversation is exhausting. Let's take off the names, off the jersey. Let's take Durant off the jersey. Let's take Irving off the jersey. Let's take Harden off the jersey. Then what's the narrative? What are we talking about here? Think about it. They're sitting at the top of the East alongside the 76ers. You just mentioned it. They haven't even really played together. So all this talk about the Nets, they're winning ball games. They beat the best teams. They beat Utah. They beat the 76ers. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Suns. They beat the Lakers. They beat Miami. So what are we talking about here? Why is this even a debate? I can see if they're sitting where the Lakers are sitting right now. I can see if they're sitting where the Nuggets are sitting right now. But they're not. This is the best team in the NBA, and they haven't even spent much time together, Wilds. So if you take the names off the jersey, the narrative changed. This is just because there's three powerful guys came together year, and they're absolutely balling, and they're checking the box. Well, we don't play defense. Well, since the break, we're 13th. You heard Chris talk about that. Oh, who's going to sacrifice? Well, James Harden went to point guard. Kyrie Irving, he fits in where he fits in. So this whole thing is exhausting, Wow.
Okay, well, I think it is a great preview for tonight's game because Ben Simmons, whether he liked it or not, put a small target on his back. Oh, we don't play defense. Well, Kevin Durant, as we know, is up day and night looking at every tweet that's ever been written about him and watching every piece of television that has mentioned his name. So Kevin Durant undoubtedly saw this like, okay, that's our plan, so I will play defense and I'm going to let you up. Kyrie Irving, let's see what he does. I would take this as a challenge as well to go right at Ben Simmons. The question for me is this, Broussard. Would you play Kevin Durant tonight? It is a big game in the standings, but coming off of 27 minutes last night, the guy's only played, I think, 20 games in 2 years. Are you willing to play him back-to-back in this important game?
As long as the doctors say he's fine to go, then yeah, I'm playing him. The bottom line is he needs to play. All right, he needs the minutes, so I would play him. We're still not going to get a great look, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, because other guys are out. But, yeah, I would play Durant in this game. I get your thinking, not only health-wise, but if you sat him out, Philly's not going to get a good look at you with your roster. So
that's
there
interesting.
could be a little strategy in there, too. Don't let them see the stars. But I would go ahead and play him.
If you were going to sit Durant, you'd have sat him yesterday. This is the single most important game for either team the rest of the year. It decides the tiebreaker.
What?
It likely will end up at the end of the year being that this is. What? Find a game more important. They're 1-1 in the season standings. This is the tiebreaker game. The loser of this game loses 2 games in the fight for the 1 seed. So if you were going to sit Durant, you just sat him yesterday against the Timberwolves, who you probably could have beaten anyway. Timberwolves weren't playing Big Cat because Big Cat was the anniversary of the tragic death of his mother. But on Ben Simmons, just quickly, there's not a single thing he said that is false. He said the Lakers are the champions, check. There's only one ball, check. And you've got to play defense, check. Now you believe that the Nets are going to be able to share the ball, and that, amazingly, I didn't know it. The only 2 people in America who think the Nets play defense, evidently, I work with. I had no idea. It's a crazy coincidence. Broussard and Brandon think the Nets are all of a sudden some
numbers? Check it since the break.
Stats are stats.
Check it since
numbers
the break.
never lie.
Since the break. So is that how we do it now? We do it since the break. We don't do it over the course of the season. We do it since the break.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
Well, then we got to redo the standings
because
too.
When you got a new team
called
coming together,
mid-season form. Right.
They still haven't come together. They're not playing together. What if everyone's lost their mind?
They're winning.
They're not together.
They're
not
winning.
They're
winning.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.